Yeah. Well, hey, all right, guys, we are live. I think this is the 8th edition of the Starting Line Society podcast. We are live on YouTube, X, and my personal Facebook profile because the podcast Facebook profile is still a little too new to be able to go live. But we have with us today, obviously, Paul Miller's been on the show before, Oliver and Miller Racing, and we've got the Taco Man, Ryan Hill. These are your winners and runners-up from the IHRA Spring Nationals. And tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about Fuel Altered Chaos, which starts tomorrow in Tucson. And we're going to do a little recap of the IHRA race in, where was that? Hebron, Ohio? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Columbus.
Yeah, Columbus, yeah.
Columbus.
And, you're looking at the IHRA Fuel Altered track mile per hour record holder 3 times? Is that what it was? You broke it 3 times?
No, twice. So the first one was the 228 lap, and then that 230 mile an hour hit in the semis was something I looked at the time slip like 3 times going, what the hell is that? I'm like, I've never thought we'd ever go that quick.
Well, I mean, obviously it was a fantastic weekend for both of you, and I can assure you that I was at my house and wherever we were at, whether we were at the shop or the house, and every time you guys were up, I was screaming and hooting and hollering. I'm 1,200 miles away, and I got a lot of skin in the game.
I love it.
It's funny. I think, Paul, what was I like? Maybe the 4th or 5th person you approached, I think, on this Fuel Altered deal. And I know I told him from the get-go, I'm in. I don't care where it goes. I'm in. And so they've treated us with open arms since day one. And not saying that other series haven't, but it's like, it just feels good that we have a place that we'll go race. And, I think it spotlights what the class is. We're just a bunch of, honestly, all of us are just working class individuals. And we kind of get to put on this show at what I feel like is a pro level.
Oh, it's definitely a pro level. I mean, you got some big heavy hitters out there. Pete Dove's out there racing, and obviously Paul Miller. I mean, there's some big time guys that are racing with the IHRA. I mean, Patino or Petinino. How do you say his last name?
Petnato.
Yeah. I mean, Rat Poison. I mean, how long has that guy been racing? 40, 50,
Ever.
60 years? Yeah.
Ever. It's going to say ever.
Yeah, Dan is Dan's one of my heroes, and I love that car. And if it wasn't for Dan, I mean, when I built my first Fuel Altered, Dan's one of the guys that finally gave me like a match race opportunity over in Pittsburgh. Like it's tough to kind of break in and get in a group when you haven't like really made a name for yourself yet. And if it wasn't for Dan, so thanks, Dan.
I would say that you did a pretty good job making a name for yourself already because you've already won one. You've runnered up another. And somebody said, if I had Paul's money, I'd burn mine, laughy face. I don't know who's DJ Marilatz.
DJ's my buddy. So DJ's actually opening a drag strip near us, reopening it, Magnolia. And we're hoping it's a small, about an hour and 10 minutes south of me. It's got a lot of history. DJ, text me some pointers right now if you can, buddy. But it's we ran down there with my dad's front motor top fuel car one time, trying to set a track record. I think there's a top dragster called the Lake Erie Monster. They went some ungodly 370 something. They're 200 mile an hour on a track. They had no business going anywhere near that fast. Just super cool grassroots. DJ is putting blood, sweat, and tears in this thing. I've been fortunate to try to help him on some of the construction side. He's a contractor as well, does a little different stuff than I do, but I think we finally got the paving figured out. And yeah, it's gonna be a awesome track to see come back.
Well, it's always, like I said, with the IHRA bringing back Heartland Park, Topeka, Memphis Motorsports Park, and Atlanta Dragway, it's always great to hear, tracks coming back from, just being closed, and nobody ever thought that they would open again. And I'm really excited about Memphis Motorsports Park, especially since they're going to end the Triple Crown. I think they're going to end the Triple Crown there, aren't they?
I think that's the plan, right? Yeah, because it was Maple
Grove,
Kansas.
Columbus.
Yeah. They're still 50-50. They're still 50-50 on, I think, whether or not the track will be done in time for the Triple Crown.
There's a lot of stuff to do at all, especially Atlanta. They tore down the whole entire tower, and Memphis, it looked like a zombie land over there. You know what I mean? It has been raced on in, I don't know, 5 or 6, 7 years, probably almost a decade that nobody's been down that track.
And DJ's
So,
texting me, says it's the first time it's been sanctioned. So it's a IHRA track now as well. So Magnolia will be a IHRA track. So
man,
that's going to be a IHRA sanctioned track, not owned.
I
So
tell you what, man, IHRA is making serious moves, man, and it really, makes you think what's, what are the guys over, the other one thinking in the back of their minds about the amount of money and resources and time that this guy is committing to not only drag racing but motorsports in general. I mean, he's got stock cars and drag boats and monster trucks and offshore boats and drag racing. I mean, it's
tractor
crazy.
pull, tractor and truck
yeah,
pulling.
bull riding at the drag strip. I mean, you know what I mean?
That stuff was fun. That's something if you ever get to experience, I tell you what, we got to experience it last year at the end of the year at Galot last year. Now it was a trip because we were literally parked, grandstands were there. I didn't have to walk very far after drinking too much.
And we unfortunately we were downwind a little bit. So we'll just leave it at that.
Yummy. So I was
But
driving.
that's okay.
Reminds me of driving through Amarillo, and as soon as you get into Hereford, you got to roll the windows up because you already know what's coming. Yeah, my favorite smell in the whole. Everybody says it smells like money, and I think it smells like crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, Ryan. And I'm sure that a lot of other viewers out there are also curious. How did you get the name Taco Man?
Man, so I'm actually half Mexican, and I might not look like it. I am white as I got my dad, but I do actually have 50% Mexican. My mom's from Mexico. Most of my family's from Mexico. God, I've always just grown up eating Mexican food. That was always something as a household thing back in the day. So I always make it a thing. Like when we travel, it doesn't matter what corner of the freaking country I'm in. I know of a Mexican joint to go eat. And that's just something my kids actually started calling me Taco Man. And then my middle daughter drew I somewhere have it on the internet, a picture of what she drew me Taco Man about 3 or 4 years ago now. And then I finally made it a sticker and put it on the car. So ever since then, I've just been nicknamed Taco Man by my kids, and it kind of just stuck. And I mean, on the fact that I do love tacos, but I am Taco Man now.
I mean, who doesn't love tacos? I'm from New Mexico. I live in Albuquerque, and there's a taco stand within a stone's throw of my house in really any direction. You know what I mean? So if you're ever in Albuquerque, yeah.
You guys have a place down there, Gene something.
Green Jeans?
Yes, I've been to that place. That place is so freaking cool down there.
Yeah, what the heck is the name of that taco place inside of there? Actually, my wife's best friend, Jess, had her son's 10th or 11th birthday party at my house, and they got it catered from that place at Green Jeans because they love those tacos so much. But yeah, I mean,
one of my friends told me about that place. Haley James, she's from Albuquerque.
Yeah, I know
Haley and James are. Yep, we were in Albuquerque like 3 years ago. I'm like, hey, where can I go? And she said, here. I'm like, perfect. That's all we did for like 4 days was eat there.
Yeah, I've known Dwayne and Haley for a long, long time.
Good people.
Yeah, back when Hellion Turbo first started, you know what I mean? Back in the day, back when James was still driving, what do they call it, Pro 50 or whatever it was.
Paul might not know what we're talking about.
Yeah, it sounds good though. We don't really
He's
have
like, we don't have taco
here in
joints.
Northeast Ohio.
Remember now, at one point in time, I drove door cars, so I know a lot of door car people. And then I decided that center steer race cars with the engine in front of you is far more fun than a Pro Mod.
Way safer.
I don't know, man. Pro Mods, I mean, they look fun to drive. You know what I mean? Look at Jimmy Taylor. He went 513 at damn near 300 miles an hour. You know what I mean? That's pretty fast.
I texted Carl Stevens right after they did that, and I said, I forgot what I said to him. I said, give me a fender. I want to race you guys. Give me a fender. That's all I need, man. Come on, let me run down that Pro Mod.
I mean, you're still looking at a high 5-second pass in your car in the quarter mile, right?
Hard to say. I mean, Dad's car's been 346 to the 8th mile, and let me think about that. We went 354 last year with Dad's car and ran it to the quarter mile, went 529 at a 54. So I've been 43. So I'm probably in a mid-teen, I would think.
I'd say mid-teen, 280, 270.
Yeah. I have no clutch management, so we'll never 300 in this thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got a good buddy named Lau Greenberg, and he's been he broke the track record in Albuquerque. He went 593. I can't remember the mile per hour, but it was quite impressive for 8,000 feet above sea level, corrected. I don't think it was that. I
absolutely.
don't think it was that high that night, but he was definitely. And I mean, he was. It was, you know, that car's a handful to drive. Them. I mean, Alters are a handful to drive. No matter how you look at it. But you know, it was cool to watch. And you know, I've been with a lot of races with Lau Fuel Alter Chaos last year, which he won. And
Yeah.
then you know, getting to see him up at Bandimere a few times, running it without a wing when he first got the car, put the altered body on it, had no wing on it, and that was quite a interesting. He ran in the fives in Bandimere without the wing on it, but he said he was never going to do that again because it was just, you know, super unstable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen Lau. That's why they call him the cone hunter. I've seen him take out lots of cones. Yeah, I've known Lau my entire life. So, but
yeah, running these cars without wings is not. I tried to do it with my first fuel alter. I think Ryan, you guys were up there at where were we at? Michigan,
Milan. Yeah, we were at Milan when you brought that thing
Uh,
out for the first time,
I,
man.
I tried to run it without wings on it and did like a 230-mile-an-hour wheel stand at right at the stripe, and I was like, yeah, I'm good.
Time for a wing. Time for
Yeah,
a
like
wing.
on the back tire the whole way down. Yeah, that sounds like a real great
it
time.
was wild. So
one other thing I wanted to ask you, Ryan, about the Triple Crown. You're not. So you are either of you chasing the chip?
So there's no Triple Crown bonus for the fuel altered.
Right.
We are one of the invited classes.
Okay.
And as of right now, we are doing the first two for sure.
Okay.
We're going to do this next one coming up in Reading, and then we'll do Columbus because it's so close to us. It's 2.5 hours away. And then more than likely we'll do the last one as well.
How far are you guys going to travel to this side? Because like I said, I'm in Albuquerque. Are you guys going to try to do Heartland Park or Memphis or any of that type of stuff?
So I am doing Heartland for sure. One of my sponsors, Enthusiast Companies, that's where they're headquartered.
Okay.
So we are planning on doing that, and we'll just have to see how everything goes. I mean, I've been fortunate. I'll tote it a little bit here. I picked up a marketing partner in Outlaw Light.
Mm-hmm.
So
good stuff.
The beer sponsor.
Yeah. So it's
you got the good sponsor. All I need now is Taco Bell on my car, and we're both set.
We tried. I've been doing some.
We tried, man. Got nothing, man. Come on.
But no, and we're working on some other ones, so all that stuff's gonna help. You know, it all depends on. I mean, I filled up some of our trucks today at $6.30 a gallon diesel, and it's just like, man, it really makes you rock.
It's gonna make it tough for a lot of people to travel for sure. It's almost $6 a gallon down here in Albuquerque, and I'm 41 years old, and I've never seen diesel that high ever.
No, it's tough. Ryan knows my son Cole, and you know he drives a diesel truck as well, and he's like, Dad, I got to fill my truck up again. I'm like, well, is what it is, but we just got to get through it and tighten up in other departments, and you know, keep some help coming in, and everything's appreciated by everybody. I'm blessed to have a volunteer crew, and that really sticks with us, help keep the car going and moving, and keep building buildings and doing the stuff we do, and we should be able to hit them all this year.
All right. Well, like I said, I'm going to try to make one of them. I guess
Topeka would be the one.
Yeah. Going back to you, Ryan, and this is a hot topic for, you know, lots of people. Now, your wife is Mad Maxine, and a lot of people want to know how long it's going to take before you punch one of these idiots in the mouth for just saying dumb shit to her.
I've invited him out to the racetrack.
For him.
I'm like, I invite him out. Come on.
Oh my God, dude.
You wouldn't say that in person? Come on.
Absolutely not, dude. There's no way that some of these guys would say dumb. I mean, like I said, they've said some, obviously she's got to have thick skin. Cause I mean, if somebody said that to my wife, she'd be like, all right, I'm never getting on Facebook again. I'm good. Like, you know, and she doesn't like to be in the spotlight either. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's no way that I would be able to handle myself. I mean, even if somebody says something dumb about my wife, I come unglued. It's just in my nature. You know what I mean?
What was super funny when I first met Shannon, gosh, we've been together since 2019 now. Married almost 4 years. She was an introvert, like just very reserved, very quiet individual. And I'm like, hey, I've been drag racing for a long time. I have more friends than I can count. People's names I don't remember. People will talk to you. And I think at first it was a lot for her. But then I realized at the same time, when you look at the grand scheme of things, all the hate comments and all the bullshit, that's dollars in your pocket. Let them talk shit. You know what? Let them just speak. You interact with them. They interact back. It's ching, 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 ching. It's money. So I'm like,
Dude, she's getting 2 million views a week. That is
Yeah, that is.
absolutely ridiculous. The amount of traffic that she is seeing on her Mad Maxine pages, it's impressive, really, especially because she's only been doing it for a couple of years. And like I said, I mean, that's the way people become YouTube superstars is having, I mean, eventually she's going to get a plaque from YouTube that says, hey, look, you got 1 million views or
Yeah,
whatever. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Yeah, she can start
come
getting
on.
gold and platinum plaques from YouTube for the amount of traffic that she's getting to. But she doesn't have, she just has a Facebook page, right?
Yeah, we tried the YouTube route. It's so much work. And, with her, she stays at home, works from home, and then she does wedding cakes, high-end wedding cakes.
Right.
And so those are good income. So I mean, other than that, I mean, she just didn't want to have to do anything else, do more. And so I'm like, well, that's all right. The cakes bring the money, and then the Mad Maxine pays for a lot of stuff. So it works out pretty well. I spend like, I don't know, 10 to 12 days a month in hotels. I'm traveling for work, but that's part of the job, but it's also allowed us to do a lot.
Right. So I guess we'll talk a little bit about Funny Car Chaos, or not Funny Car Chaos, Fuel Altered Chaos that's coming up here in Tucson this weekend. It looks like they've got somewhere between 25 and 28 entries between all of them. So I'm excited to see who's able to take the crown. I know Lyle's not there, and I know Ray is not there. Obviously Ray had some engine troubles in Ennis, and it just it wasn't good. We pulled the oil
No,
pan
I
off
was
that
gonna
car.
say, I
Yeah,
knew
it
there was a
was
lot of guys that hurt some stuff in Texas. It was a rough weekend
Ennis
for a
was
handful of people. A
Ennis
handful of people.
was rough, dude. I mean, it was super rough. The green 32 Ford on the very last pass. He
Yeah.
flipped that thing on his sides.
Coleman
Basically,
burned that thing.
yeah. I mean, I was one of the first ones down to the end of the track, dude. They was just flabbergasted that car even made it down the track after all the, the things that went on the starting line. I mean, it was smoking all the way down the track, and that was definitely interesting. But the hillbilly blew up.
Like,
Teddy
help.
Jet, the To Say It Loud car, they had engine problems. Ray Stringer had it, and then Keith Jackson had engine problems. So
Yeah, we had heard about Keith Jackson's deal, man. That was a wild one that happened. It blew a hole through the awning. I mean, it
was
did a whole
standing on
bunch
the
of
starting
stuff.
line, and all I heard was pow. And I looked behind me, and then I was like, as soon as my friend Corey had never been to a drag race. Corey's the co-host of the podcast. He had never been to a drag race before, and he looked at me and he goes, "What was that?" And I was like, "That was a nitro explosion." I knew it immediately as soon as I heard it. I was like, that doesn't sound very good." And I didn't find out until like the next day that that had happened. And as soon as I walked up, Wesley Darter was like, "Hey, Paul, check this out." And he just hands me the valve. And I was like, "Oh,
Yeah, that's what it was. It was the valve that went through.
Oh my
Oh
yeah."
my God.
Dude blew the
Yeah.
valve spring out of the head. Like the valve spring with I mean, you could see straight down into the cylinder. It was crazy.
Wow.
And it just goes to show you how, like I said, I mean, I've seen some pretty crazy stuff. Dave Benjamin had that issue. I can't remember where that was. I think it was in Idaho or something like that. But, it almost cut the whole front of the frame off the car. So it just goes to show you that these cars are definitely on nitro. You definitely got to be careful when you're around them, for sure, for sure.
Nitro is not your friend.
No, I know Ryan they guys do a very similar procedure that we do. I mean, we keep these motors cleaned and back down because I've seen it happen. Some friends of ours, it happened years ago. I mean, especially with, you get a spring sticking on some of these cup and ball systems on these down nozzles, and it's a bomb waiting to go off.
It's a bomb.
Yeah.
The Hirata had that happen, gosh, almost 20-something years ago now.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
it blew part of the head off, put a hole through the trailer, put somebody in the hospital. Nobody died, but it was just one of those things. I guess I don't know what. I don't know the story behind it. I just know that they had an explosion, and it was just like, oh my God.
There's a gentleman that from our town here that's now since passed away, Dave Harrington. He had restored some he restored El Toro, and he restored a Prudhomme car and the Castrol Gary Beck rear engine car, but they were down in display at the Gators years ago. And another local gentleman who's also passed away, now I think about it, Bob Long, was sitting in the car. They started it, and they had started it a couple times that day, and nobody really. I guess there was just a lot of vapors and stuff down in the engine, and when they cranked it over, it just blew the whole motor apart. I mean, it was just some people got burnt, and I mean, it was I mean, Ryan, I'm sure you guys get it. People come up all the time. Hey, can I get like a couple gallons of nitro? Well, what are you doing with it? Like, I have seen like we have Top Fuel Harley guys and stuff in our little town here, but man, when Nitro wants to, it chooses violence, it wins.
Yeah, definitely.
It wins.
Yeah.
It does. It does. No, I'm
Oh, yeah.
excited to see what goes on with the Fuel Altered Chaos. Even though we're not part of it, I still throw it on the TV and the radio and listen because those are still our guys. And a
Yeah.
lot of I'm friends with a lot of West Coast guys. I thoroughly enjoy going to Bakersfield when I get to see everybody. I think my pick for this weekend, I'd probably go with like Michael Halstead winning A Field. The Black
Yeah, I
Pearl.
mean,
The Black Pearl, man.
Jimmy Kelso's got himself a hot little ride in the speed sport car.
Yeah,
you know,
he does. He does.
He runner up
yeah,
last
I was
year.
gonna say that.
When
That
he's
speed
got-
sport car is
He's got Todd turning the screws on that thing. So, like I said,
That's
maybe
a nice
maybe they
piece.
can. It is, and hey, man, they got a funny car and an altered, and they're both very nice cars.
I tell you what, though, those guys know how to run at altitude. That's something that me and Paul have never experienced.
Gosh, shit, that's
I've
not
been
even
in some god awful air, but I've never been no 8,000 feet or 6,000 feet. I would.
They're
Oh my
racing down there
God.
at 6,000 feet. We're trying to tune and drive in 8,000 plus, sometimes 9,000. You know what I mean?
Just
So
I'm
our
not sure I
track
have a
is
small enough head gasket.
yeah. Our track is a little bit higher than the old Bandimere tracks.
wow.
Typically, when racers go to Bandimere from here, it's a home run walk in the park for them. They usually do pretty well just because, like I said, they don't have to work towards those disadvantages of racing in that high of an altitude because that's what they race in every weekend.
So
So,
I was
exactly.
gonna wear my quarter pounder hat tonight and I couldn't find it. I think it's in
I
the,
got
it's in
my-
the trailer. I know.
That car is by far one of my favorite, just all around nostalgia cars. That thing
Yep.
just looks the part of what
Have-
nostalgia funny car is.
have you seen his kids car? The kids
Yeah.
junior. It's called the
Yeah,
it's called
pounder.
the eighth pounder.
Pound?
Eighth
Yeah, I
pounder,
love it.
yes. I love that.
We were at the Division 7 junior finals last year with my niece, and dude, he come pulling up with that thing, and I was like, dude, that is so funny. And I didn't make the connection until I can't remember what is his name. Eoff, is that what his
Jeff.
name is?
No, it's Jeff.
Jeff. Okay.
Jeff.
Yeah. And I seen Jeff pulling up, and I looked at the car, and I was like, oh, okay, I
Like,
understand now.
that's it.
I get
That's
it. It's a great, it's great.
Yeah,
And
I'm
then
actually going to have him build a new set of tanks for the car for us so we have a spare set because, that's one thing we don't have a spare of with us is a set of oil and fuel tanks. And I know eventually something's going to happen.
Yeah, I've been patching mine up. I had a buddy build me a big one because I needed the ballast, and
Yeah.
it's got a leak. It's got a leak or two. We've patched a few leaks here and there.
So, but no, no, this weekend's going to be awesome. There was a couple messages back and forth last week about me maybe going out and driving one of these for a guy, and it didn't come to fruition. So
But yeah, I saw him looking for a driver. He's looking for a
Yeah, we
driver.
went
for
back
his
and
crew.
Who was
forth.
looking?
Jim Holt, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, Jim Holtz. Yeah, it's
So
not a big
I
shit.
kinda
Small pump
had-
single mag type deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I had thrown out there, getting some dimensions from him and stuff, what the seat was and asking some questions because that's a big block Chevy on Nitro, and that's like where I came from. I'm like, oh, wedge-headed motors on fuel are fun.
I know a thing or two about big block Chevys on Nitro, thanks to the Blown Scentless crew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Stringer loves
they're,
that thing, doesn't he?
yeah. My best friend Paul, we have the Warlord Top Dragster that we've been messing around with for the last decade. Really, the old car. Now we have the new car, but Paul's been on Ray's crew for probably about the same time, about 10 years. He's been doing probably like 7 or 8 years. But yeah, he's been hanging out with Ray, and I mean, I've known Ray my entire life. When they ran the Southwest Superchargers out of Albuquerque Dragway when I was just a little kid, I was always terrified of Floyd and Ray because they always seemed like they were just always in a bad mood. But they were just dealing with the unruly children. So I'm basically dealing with the
That's
same thing
fair.
my dad was dealing with. You know what I mean? So
That's
and
fair, isn't it? Yeah.
ironically, all of their kids, I'm friends with all of them. You know what I mean? I'm friends with Chris and Craig and all the Stringer boys. So, I can't imagine that dealing with 4 or 5 kids and no girls, just boys. Could have been
I got girls. There's 3 of them. My poor boy is outnumbered, and we are outnumbered.
running
the
around in the
household-
world full of estrogen.
I tiptoe lightly in my house because they all just get mad over some really dumb stuff.
Yeah. Well, we all know.
What's the weather? What's the weather supposed to be like right now in Albuquerque this weekend?
Well, it was 91 degrees today. We've got the Memorial Day race next weekend, and it's supposed to be mid-80s, not too shabby, like 9-mile-an-hour winds, but you never know up there on top of the mesa. 9-mile-an-hour winds could create massive dust storms. But, we've been able to get every bracket race in this year, so we're happy about that. But,
that's awesome.
We got the big July 4th deal coming up. There's supposed to be 16 funny cars, doing a similar format to Chaos, A and B field.
Nice.
But I don't know how many cars they've secured, how many cars are coming. I know Danny Smith, my buddy from Denver's, coming down. But yeah, outside of Danny, I don't really know. I think Ray and Lyle are both also coming. So that ought to be an interesting show. But let's talk about the IHRA Triple Crown, since I have both of you on here. Just off the top of your head, funny car, top fuel dragster. Early picks to win, not the Triple Crown, because obviously it's going to be difficult to win all 3 races unless you're Del Worsham, who seems to, like I said, he's got a handle on things.
Flourishes in those moments.
Yeah. Dude, my kid was so excited when he got to meet him in Odessa, and I got to meet him in Ennis a couple times. Del is a super nice guy. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. But
he is.
Top fuel dragster, Paul, who you going with to win the first race at Maple Grove?
Oh boy, I'd love to see Palmer do it, just because, not against some of the NHRA teams that are showing up, but I really want to see an IHRA car really do it. And I think 1,000-foot racing is going to be the equalizer there. So I'd love to see Palmer do it, just because I'm a Palmer fan.
Well, when you talk about the nicest drag racers in the world, the list is obviously long. It's prestige. You got a lot of great guys on there, but Paul Scott's definitely at the top of the list. Definitely. He's one of the, like I said, he's always got a smile on his face. Crystal's great. The whole team over there,
the whole gang.
They're all great people.
I still got the front cover on my blower from him. We freaking broke the.
That's right.
I still got the front cover on my blower. He's like, we'll worry about it later. I'm like, I'm looking for one to give him his back. I haven't found one yet. So.
Scott's that type of guy for sure.
He's that type of guy.
Paul Peck.
Yeah. You got a good point. I did talk to
Call Bobby.
I always forget to call Bob. I'll call Bob.
Right,
if I had a choice, if I had a choice, I don't know, man. Pritchett's been on a roll. Them Foley boys, the boys got some stuff figured out. They've been bad. So I have to say, I don't know. I like Palmer a lot, but if the chances are, if I was a betting man, I'd probably pick Pritchett. I think that car has just been super good this year. 3 finals, kind of like we have been, and there's a lot of consistency over there with that team. So that's where I think my pick would be.
I'm gonna go with the young gun, and obviously, like I said, we got a connection because we raced juniors together. But I'm gonna go with Maddie Gordon.
Okay.
Like I said, she's been doing real well, and like I said, there's nothing that girl can't drive. We're hoping to get her on the podcast at some point in time, but that'd
be awesome.
My pick for funny or for a top field dragster is going to be Maddie Gordon.
She was in Cleveland today. They were on our local news here and at the Browns Stadium today, and toting that race. It's going to be at Norwalk here in a little bit.
Somebody said Pritchett's not running the Triple Crown. I thought they were running the Triple Crown. Dang. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
You got to choose again, Ryan.
Well, probably Lee Calloway then, the other Palmer car.
Yeah.
Lee's been fast. They've had a couple things that have bit him, but that car is pretty darn quick. If they can get 3 together, that's a bad ride too.
Man.
Oh my God. Chuck had a great weekend. And then what he told me happened is that the cannon didn't reset for the first round. So it went out there and blew the tires off.
So did I see
I've
it
never
correctly?
seen that man happier.
Did I see it correctly that Chuck went like a low 3-second pass?
318? 18 or 14?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Dude, I tell you what,
awesome.
I love spending time at Chaos races with Chucky and Angie and the whole entire dude. Jimmy is such a nice guy. The whole entire crew over there. Every Chaos race I've ever been to, dude. It's like I said, they are some of the best racers that I have ever had the privilege to be around. Chuck and Angie are two very great people. Great people.
They're phenomenal. That car, if you get a chance to look at that car in person, it is beautiful.
Super humble too. Super humble people. Like I said, they're just super sweet, super nice. They're always inviting, hey, come on in. What are you guys doing? You want to come get a drink? Like I said, Chuck and Angie are great people. Oh, so I guess Pritchett is focusing on points and not necessarily chasing the million. But again, I think
Pritchett's like me. That's where I'm at right now. We're focusing on points over
the only reason why we've got, Matty Gordon, Ron Capps, and some of these guys that are crossing over from NHRA to IHRA is they're chasing that $1 million purse is what they're doing.
Absolutely. It's too
I thought
tantalizing.
Caps's response when he was asked about it was pretty class. I guess Napa did a big thing up there every year.
Yeah.
A really big thing. And he said he wants to bring it to his fans. And, he talked to Napa, talked to his sponsors, and really, they decided to do it. And I think, that shows some class there. But I mean, I'm sure with Ron being a team owner now and, all this, that any extra money probably helps.
Yeah, $1 million would definitely help. But you got to think Maple Grove outside of Indianapolis, the one of the biggest or the second biggest race on their schedule was Reading, Pennsylvania, Maple Grove. I mean, there was a sellout crowd every year, no matter what.
And you know what, though? Caps and them probably have the most data.
That's true. That's definitely true.
A lot of the teams that are going. So it's like, all right, honestly, at this point in time, Caps to me is the favorite to win just based on the fact he's had more laps down that racetrack than anyone else that's running the Triple Crown has.
I think he's won a couple races at Reading as well.
I think you're right. I think he's won just about everything at this point.
Yeah. So
I want to see my boy Dan Hicks go around. So I want to see.
Me too.
I want to see our boy Dan Hicks go and see what he can do. And he's got that car so close to where he's gonna turn some head. And him and his boys watching them service that car is like
with like 3 people.
Damn, like a well-oiled machine.
Oh, it's like, well, one day I'll learn how to work on one of these things. They make you just feel like inferior when you're watching them, but they're such a good family and just good people. And so if we're making funny car picks, I'm gonna pick the dark horse and Dan Hicks.
All right.
Yeah, that's fair. I tell you what, though, Hicks had the most gangster pedal job to not qualify at Columbus, and I felt bad because it looked so cool, but it just didn't make the show. I'm like, damn, that was awesome, but it sucked that he didn't qualify.
All right. Well, Ryan, what's your pick for funny car?
I don't know, man. I mean, if you're gonna pick, statistically speaking, it is Caps. As much as who you want to win, it's who you think would win. And it's hard though, because like I said, they have data. They got backing millions of dollars. And so like everything's cataloged. And so for them, it's just go down the list right here. There you go. And that's what we're going to put in the thing. And it'll probably go right down Broadway and probably go like a 390 right off the trailer. Cause that's just what they do.
Yeah.
And so that'll be but the thing is, it comes back to everyone's got to race the racetrack, man. Everybody's beatable.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily. Yeah, I mean, funny car is kind of a toss up for me. I would love to see Dale win it because, like I said, Dale's a super awesome guy. But yeah, I mean, Dale Creasy, maybe he could get it done again. Yeah. Somebody wants to know, Ryan, if you're going to come race the Altered at Tucson in November for Fuel Altered.
I would say probably not. I don't think that. It's just honest to God.
That's a long haul.
It is too dang far for us. And
gas prices would have to go way down.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and then like Paul was in on this deal last year when we ran both races as a pilot. Originally, we weren't scheduled to have a full season with 11 races and stuff like that. At the end of the year, they were talking about keeping us as straight up just being a show. And then, January 1 rolls out. Here's 8 races plus 3 bonus ones. And I'm like, oh boy. So, it kind of was just like we decided right at the beginning of the year once that happened, based on how the season goes, if we're going to do well in points, we'll do all 8. If we're going to start sucking a little bit, we can afford to miss 1 or 2. But, right now I'm committed to all of them.
I was about to say, neither one of you are uncommitted, Jake. I mean, both of you, you guys are both doing ridiculous. I mean, extremely well.
If Paul's going to complain about gas prices, though, I'll just tie his shit to mine and we'll drag it down the highway.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be fine. I think it's, we got to make a decision. Ryan, one thing I didn't really tell anybody, we had no oil pressure going into that final round against you down there.
A man like me, let's go, dude.
And, Barone was helping out, and he looks at me, and I'm like, send it.
Yeah, sometimes you got to make that call, final round.
Yep.
But it's weird, though. We got it back, took everything apart, and like, everything's perfect. So maybe it's just a sensor, I don't know, but we're still putting a new block in it and a whole new deal so we can be ready for this deal up in Reading here.
Yeah. I'm actually excited to have a weekend off and actually go play with Dad's car.
Yeah,
That's gonna,
actually,
that's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's as much as I'm gonna miss you guys there. Right now, I think we got 9 entered in for the Triple Crown race.
Love it.
A couple guys decided, Umlofts and Anthony or Whitfield are coming over. I know they were kind of back and forth on which one they were gonna do. Um, so it's hopefully we can go put on a good show up there, and you guys can do the same thing back here in Ohio. I mean, financially, going to the Chaos deal would make way more sense for me. But
a lot closer, yeah.
I mean, it's an hour and a half from the house versus
no
5.5 or 6 hours.
Well,
It's
and you get to race at Norwalk, you know what I mean?
I know Bader fan, everybody's just phenomenal. But no, we decided, we want to do this Triple Crown thing. The iTray has been so good to all of us, and want to make sure that we have full fields and for them and for the fans. It looks like our little T-shirt giveaway, fan ticket giveaway thing, Ryan, is getting a bunch of traction, and there's going to be some
Saw that.
some other teams jumping on board. We had a brief conversation today about it, and I'm gonna go on tomorrow and call out 2 teams that are going to be there. I'm going to pick them out and call them out and tell them they don't really have a choice. Actually, I'm going to do one right now, if that's okay.
Yeah, do it up. Here we go. Call out coming up for the
I'm going to
T-shirt
call
contest.
out
Let's go.
Dan Petinato. We're going to keep
Rat
a fuel
poison.
altar in there, and I know he's coming to the Triple Crown, and I want to see Dan. That car's got some history all up and down the East Coast, so I think
Absolutely.
and I'm reaching in your wallet and in your T-shirt bin, and we're gonna make some fans happy. And then funny card top fuel. We're gonna put a little more thought in this. I think we're gonna maybe try to get one of these bigger teams with a little more bandwidth to step up and do this, because it's been such a I mean, Ryan, you see it. I mean, what we got on the internet from doing our little personal little back and forth having fun. I mean, this has been just huge, and everything that everything that Shannon did. I mean, you're talking about her and everything she does. I mean, what a help for the entire group. And I try to thank her every time I can. We had some fun this week with taco signs and stuff, and we just have a great time racing with everybody.
We did.
So
you did. I tell you what, though, I mentioned Petinato on Monday morning this morning, and Petinato texted me earlier. I told him, I said, I think Petinato has the best looking fuel alter to ever exist.
that is the best looking car.
That is 100% the best looking fuel altered there is. That is, if you type in fuel altered on the internet, that's it.
Yep.
And he thanked me for that, man. I'm like, I've always liked that car ever since I've seen it. I've always loved that thing.
It's definitely a good looking car for sure. It's
and it runs well too. So it runs well.
Old 60th S to it. You know what I mean?
And dude, he drives that thing like a madman. Like, and I love it. And like, they get that car and run 70s, and he's Dan. He's got wisdom against us, and lots more laps. And you give that man a little more time, that car is going to be flying even faster and giving us all a run for our money.
Isn't that thing like 9 inches shorter than our car too? It's like 110 or 100
super short.
It's
like
a
super
it's
short.
a short wheelbase race car.
120 something or one. I'll have to ask Dan, but it's just, I mean, he has no wing on the car per se. I mean, if you look at
just that little one on top of it, yeah.
Well, you have the little canards.
The only thing that keeps him playing is the size of his balls.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. They're just dragging down the track. Fuck. But they're just him and Robbie and Lee and everybody. They're just freaking phenomenal.
So,
I love
Ryan,
those guys.
One thing I wanted to dive into a little bit here. I've been around quite a few teams and seen a lot of banter back and forth, but those War Wagon boys,
oh God,
they can.
Shane texted me the other day, man.
Relentless, dude. Good Lord,
I know.
Man,
I don't know who. See. I'm not savvy with AI. I know some tech, but I don't know how to do that. He said something about this. I said, "You better watch out, boy. I'm gonna turn that War Wagon into a taco wagon here soon."
Yeah. Hey, just open up your phone, hit the power button real quick, and it'll pop up Gemini, and just give him a picture of the War Wagon, and just tell him what you want it to do, dude. That's how I made this little banner right here. The little
make me a taco
media. Yeah, with the tacos and everything. Yeah, Google Gemini. It works great.
That's absolutely hilarious. No, I mean, so when we ran the first late race last year, obviously that car is the fastest car in the world,
fastest fuel altered on planet.
we just know that thing is bad at the bones. So anytime it shows up, I mean, every time they were going to Ennis every year, that car always dipped in the low 40s every freaking time they go out. So it's like that was always the benchmark car for us to want to get after. And like, I mean, at one point in time, what was it? We ran the 40 down there at 45 down there at 42 last year, and Shane walks over and says, "Finally, someone who has the balls to go as fast as we do." I'm like,
Nice.
hell yeah.
Well,
So
I can assure you that car is definitely fast. I was there when he went 300 miles an hour on that thing, and I was there when Hartman went, I can't remember what Hartman ran, but I was there for every single pass.
Hartman's got the quickest.
498 or something like that. ET or
492,
ET
492.
Yeah. And
then the War Wagon went like 305 something.
Yeah.
5. Yeah.
I think Hartman went 301.
Yep.
Yeah. And Hartman's car went 300 something as well. I know that. So I know
I'll
never do 300. I'll never do 300, but I think I'm not sure. I can probably dip into the low 50s with this thing. But, right now that might be like swinging at the end of the season kind of thing. We might try to go play around with something with it, but
like I said, it'd be.
No, I welcome those guys with open arms, and then I'm going to show them I'm going to hand them their yellow time slip at the end of the weekend.
Yeah, and then a plate full of, and then.
Oh yeah, we're gonna serve you. We're gonna serve you a plate full of tacos, and then hand you your losing time slip.
Yeah.
I would definitely be interested to see if the Ferris boys and Kevin can get out there, and like I said, go out there race. I know Lyle's itching; he wants to go out there and run an IHRA race. I know Race Stringer wants to. Like I said, IHRA is on and popping right now. It's the new hotness in drag racing, and I'm excited to see how many, obviously fans at these last couple IHRA races that they've had. It hasn't been super stellar or super spectacular, but there has been people in the stands. But I'm interested to see what, like I said, Caps, Gordon, all these other guys that are Kashawn Reed and Spencer Massey and all these other guys that are coming out that, are, big names in NHRA. I'm curious to see. I think it's going to, I would assume that Maple Grove is probably going to sell out, seeing as how NHRA is not going to be there anymore. And this is their chance to see big show guys. And with people like Caps and Gordon and all those, big show guys coming, they got the Ryan Hills and the Paul Millers that are going to be out there racing and doing all that stuff. I know you're not going to be there, but I just had to include your names in it for transparency and prosperity. But
I think my favorite thing to this whole deal is the two qualifying shots.
Yep.
I think what that does levels the playing field beyond, because like this past weekend, Cody didn't qualify. And I mean, we didn't qualify last year for one of them. We went from winning 0 to 0 so quick. So I think that plays into definitely a lot of the lower funded teams to be able to at least make the show. And then keeping it an 8-car field is absolutely the best decision, regardless of how many cars you get, regardless of how many cars.
We had that tough decision, down there for Q2 this past weekend. I'm strapped in the car as a third pair, and it's sprinkling. Finally get out. Ryan made his pass, and we met with the officials from the IHRA. We made the decision that was it. We were setting they were done. Weather wasn't going to get any better. We weren't going to run it the next morning. We were setting the field, and happy to see Ryan was able to get his run and make it count. So you get in the show. And we had a few folks that weren't overly pleased with the decision, but I think I really appreciated the conversation with the IHRA about it. I didn't really want to be the one up there on my little soapbox talking about it, but I drew that short straw real quick and had to. But it shows her also the level of, we're out here doing this, putting a show on, but the level of professionalism that Doug and Josh and everybody showed was just, hey, this is how it's going to be. And and unfortunately, even the stuff with Cody, I almost missed E2. We almost missed it. We were like scrambling. We went to put the clutch in and ended up having to cut a stud back off and put a new flywheel on. And we were like, we were on the horn sprinting, getting up there. So I was already in the car. So it's, it's just, it really shows what they're doing. And I think that was probably the best run race that we've had so far.
Absolutely. 100% best run race for a shortened day too.
Yeah. For a shortened day. The fans did show up. A lot of them were kind of meandering along the fence and whatnot, but I think you're right. We're going to see some good fan count for for Reading, I've been talking with them today, actually as early as a couple hours ago before this. Here in Northeast Ohio, we have this single day car show that happens on a Wednesday, put on by a company called Mongoose Motorsports. They make movie cars, and they do a lot of like restoration, like Fast and Furious. Like, remember that silver, what was that, Corvette that like jumped out of the airplane? They built,
The Fast and Furious
built
movies.
they built that car.
Not
So
Fast. No, never mind. Jesus, wrong
no,
movie.
that
Wrong
was Fast and
movies.
Furious.
Yeah.
So last year they had 21,000 fans at this car show on a single day.
Dang.
So
Wow.
we got with the IHRA and I got with Outlaw, and we're gonna set up over there now. And it's the week before 42 this year, so we're hoping,
cool.
Trying to drive some fans in. That's a good idea.
I mean, and I hope other drivers and folks in Ryan and I position are gonna kind of pick up on what we're trying to do and get more fans engaged in this, because that's what we need.
Well, you guys have called people out. I'm going to call out my buddy Scott Palmer and tell him, hey, Scott, you need to get let's get some T-shirts, Scott and Crystal. Let's get some T-shirts.
Yeah.
Help get some tickets. Let's, like I said, let's drive some more people into the gate. I mean, I'm
I think
all
that's
for
a perfect pair. Dan Pettinato and Scott Palmer.
Yeah.
I'm going to get online and call you guys out. Ryan, you can follow up with it if you would, please, and get Shannon and Paul, you can get them on them, and I'll get the IHRA on their butt too. And, I mean, how cool is it going to be for some fans on Saturday morning to show up in Reading, Pennsylvania and meet Scott Palmer and Dan Pettinato and get a T-shirt and a free ticket?
I think that would be awesome.
Kidding.
I think that would be great.
Guys in Columbus met me and Paul and they're like, who are these fools?
Yeah, who are these guys?
We're nobody.
Listen, Ryan, you may not be famous, but you're definitely infamous. You know what I mean?
Well, me and Shannon say this in the funniest way possible. We are situationally famous. Outside of racing, I am absolutely nothing. But in race cars, we are kind of okay. We do okay.
Well, but I mean, even in the racing world, everybody that knows anything about drag racing or whatever, like, the guy that was talking to on the Mad Maxine page about how he owned Vanguard, so and I'm like, dude, Vanguard is not owned by people; it's owned by its investors. You're full of shit.
Stockholder, you dumbass.
He tried to tell me that I was like, I own my business. You don't know my company. He's like, yes, I do. You need mental health, professional help, Doug. Like, for real.
Once again, is just trying to swing something you don't have.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But in the drag racing world, I mean, like I said, 2 million views a week. I mean,
that's gangster.
She's pretty famous, dude. You know what I mean?
She's pretty famous, man. I tell you what.
She was like
the amount. You know what was really freaking funny earlier? I took a shower and I had a sequin fall off of me.
Nice.
Okay. We went to Columbus. I slept in the motorhome for the first night. I got up and I had one stuck to my leg. My wife just follows me everywhere.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So freaking funny.
God, dude. That's crazy. All right. So next up for Ryan, obviously, and it's a weird weekend next weekend because you've got the start of the IHRA Triple Crown. And I mean, how far is Reading from Bill Bader's place at Summit Motorsports Park?
5 hours.
So between 5 hours. So 5 hours away, you've got two of the biggest events outside of, we won't name names, but it starts with an N, not an I, you know what I mean? Two of the largest events in that part of the country. You've got the Chaos race at Summit Motorsports Park. And like I said, I've been a part of Chaos since the year after it's the first race ever. I've been to at least 2 or 3 events every year, been doing media with Chris the entire time. And Summit is the most talked about event on the Chaos schedule this year, period. No matter what, that's just how it is. 5 hours away.
It's Bader.
Yeah.
It's Bader. That's why.
I wanted to go so bad, and I didn't know which one to go to, but unfortunately, we're racing the Top Drag Show next weekend here, testing with Lee Ramey and all that stuff. So I want to go so bad, but I can't let my team down. You know what I mean? But 5 hours away, you've got 2 massive events, obviously over there in that part of the country. I mean, it's a toss up between going to Chaos or going to the Triple Crown. Like I said, there's $1 million on the line, and at Chaos, I mean, obviously, like I said, it's Chaos is Chaos. You don't get outside of Chaos and IHRA. I don't think there's any other organization that you can even come close to the way that things happen and the way that things go down, the way you get treated, and just
variety.
Yeah. I mean, it's all funny cars, and
Ryan,
Vader
have you guys ever ran the funny car at Norwalk?
No, I ran my Top Sportsman car. That'd have been the only time I had ran that
God,
thing.
just wait. Like, I
I know
can't
Dad's
wait.
itching. He's itching.
I mean, we've been blessed with, like, we used to do the Night Under Fire for the Bader family with my dad's car. We did it for many years in a row, and match racing, the Frantic Fueler, and actually Ron Hope in the Rat Trap at one time. And I mean, that's an event. If nobody's ever been, go to a Night Under Fire. It's better than any national event. It's the biggest and baddest one-day drag race there is. But Norwalk is unbelievable. I mean, I was fortunate to run my alternate there, my other one, and I can't wait to see what some of these cars do on a properly prepped track, chaos track. Like, it's gonna be. I'm gonna say it right now. That Mad Max car is gonna go a 40.
I think we're probably going to try to go a darn 40 in that thing this weekend.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
the power's there. It's the same power as the Bandito and the Mad Max car share the same power plant. We don't change anything with them other than that one's got a funny car body, one's got an altered body.
Now
That's
that
gonna be.
the car you're running, that's Umalov's old car, right?
That is Umhoff's old car, absolutely,
Okay.
man. I
All right,
tell you
yeah.
what. Now it's now since it's been front half by a Murph because it's a Hadman chassis. Now I call it a Madman chassis.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, I shout out to McKinney for getting it turned around that quick, especially with the big race
Yes.
on the line and being able to do all that. Shout out to Murph McKinney over there at McKinney Race Cars.
They're
Yeah, that
badass,
is,
man. You know what's funny? They're only an hour. They're an hour and 20 minutes south of us. They're,
Okay,
you
and
know, I
you're in-
literally I drive by his place on my way down to Indianapolis all the time.
Okay, so y'all are
so,
from that mid. I don't know what you guys Midwest. Is that what it is?
It is. I mean, the region. I'm from the region. I'm technically a region rat if you look at it that
Okay.
way. We're
Dude, you are
in one of
proper
the-
Midwest, I think.
Yeah.
I am proper dead center, probably Midwest.
Yeah.
I live about an hour and 5 minutes south of Chicago,
Okay.
southeast of Chicago. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of just in that area.
I'm right smack dab in the middle of the Southwest, right where I don't want to be, where it's hot and just windy and there's crackheads everywhere, and good
God
old
bless them
Albuquerque.
crackheads.
Yeah, right. All right, guys.
Good
Well,
stuff.
this has been the Starting Line Society podcast. I'm Paul. Corey's missing tonight. That's Paul Miller, and that's Ryan Hill. Like I said, you can catch them on TV. Ryan's going to be at Chaos next weekend. Paul's going to be at the IHRA start of the Triple Crown. You'll be able to see him on TV. I'm not sure if there's going to be a live stream from Chaos or not, but I'm sure that if there is, Chris will let everybody know soon. But
I'm
I had a
pretty
great
sure
Go ahead.
Chris bought all the equipment. Chris bought all the equipment last year. At the end of
Okay.
the year, he bought all the live streaming stuff for it. So as far as I know, it was supposed to be live streamed. Now I think it's all still cameras.
Yeah, but it's
still.
probably going to be on that no name. And again, like I said, going back to the TV aspect of it, Flow's all right, but Speed Sport, I'm telling you what, dude, they're so much better than any NHRA broadcast I have ever watched ever.
God,
Period,
yes.
bar none. They got the drones, and Speed Sport gets it done. Shout out to Speed Sport. They are very talented. They've got a great crew. And, like I said, all the camera angles and the after race interviews, and it's just Speed Sport does a fantastic job. And it's free.
All those guys came by and got tacos Saturday night.
Yeah.
The entire TJ, Ken Stout came down. My buddy David came down. Then David called the entire media group from the freaking tower, and they came down and cleaned us out of tacos.
Next time you're going to need more tacos, Ryan.
I'm going to need more tacos next time.
Hey, was
No,
Alan?
it was, so Ryan, you talk about the taco thing. So we used to have, and I got to find out from my dad and Huey, they're going to, Huey and the Time Bandit guys are planning on being at the Chaos race. So I won't have them with
Beautiful.
me up. But we used to have this like spit. It was for putting meat on it, cook it over a fire. But it was kind of like a front engine dragster. And I got to find out what happened to that, because we used to cook these giant like roasts. And then, Night Under Fire, we got pictures like Gary Dencham cutting big hunks off and eating it and stuff back in the day. Just having a blast. And I think I need to find we used to call it the old Binford. And I need to find the old Binford and fire it up and maybe help out with this, with the taco buffet.
I tell you what, bring something, because my poor grill is on its last leg. It's like the third one in 3 years that we've
Jeez,
gone
you should have
through.
said something. We had one in the motorhome. So, all right, guys. Well, I gotta.
Maybe see if Scott Palmer could bring the margarita machine.
God, the fact he hasn't yet is just baffles me.
I tell you what, dude, I got to watch Tara Graves throttle whack that thing at in Ennis, and that was quite entertaining, dude. Good Lord. Good times. I'll tell you what, them Palmer boys know how to party for sure, for sure. All right, guys, this has been the Starting Line Society podcast. I'm not sure who's going to be on next week, but we'll make something happen. I'm Paul, that's Paul, and that's Ryan. And we'll see you guys next week. Same place, same time, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Don't hang up just yet, boys. I'm going to play my outro song, and then we'll talk for a second.
You got it, buddy.
See if it'll play.